Big news this morning. I don't know how it is this evening as you're hearing the program at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 in the West. But Hillary Clinton's campaign lawyer, Michael Sussman, was found not guilty today of lying to the FBI. Now, you know what that's about? I know it's really not been a boldface case except for the orange vomit. The filthy pig Donald Trump treated this investigation as a political weapon against Sussman. Trump has been goosing the right-wing nutfucks who support him with all this bullshit excitement that Durham's probe, Durham is the attorney, the special prosecutor, I should say, who was appointed by Trump before he left office, but Durham was going to deliver Watergate caliber indictments against all sorts of Clinton loyalists and deep state government agents who conspired against him. And the orange vomit, being an insane son of a bitch that he is, he even suggested that Sussman, the one who was found not guilty this morning, and other Democrats' conduct should be, Trump's words, punishable by death. These fuckers are crazy. I'm telling you, but you know that. Anyway, the verdict, not guilty by a D.C. federal jury. And by the way, they delivered for about 6 hours over 2 days before reaching the verdict. But that verdict was a big kick in the ass to John Durham's investigation, this slimy son of a bitch who has about as much investigative power as a special prosecutor, more than the committee. The thing that should be investigated is Trump's conduct during his entire 4 years, and then, of course, trying to overthrow the government. Trump should be investigated, and if the evidence warranted it, like I said, he should be indicted, put on trial, and if found guilty, he should be shot. Hanged for an act of out-and-out treason against the United States. But no, Trump wanted everybody to pay attention to this non-investigation by John Durham into Michael Sussman. Oh, yes. Anyway, the verdict today was a major defeat for Durham and his prosecutors. They have spent 3 years looking for wrongdoing in the probe by, what's his name? Who was the special investigator looking into Trump's Russia connection? Oh, how soon we forget. But anyway, 3 years they have been trying to find evidence, and Trump claimed that Sussman lied during a meeting in 2016. This is 2022, isn't it? 2016, he lied when he passed a tip to the FBI about Donald Trump and Russia. Now, the Sussman case, the charges against Michael Sussman revolved around his meeting in September of 2016 with a friend of his named James Baker. No, not the former Secretary of State. A friend of his named James Baker, who is the FBI's general counsel. And Sussman passed a tip to his friend that led to a 4-month FBI inquiry into a possible internet back channel between the filthy pig son of a bitch Donald Trump and the Alpha Bank, which is owned by Russian oligarchs, which means it's owned by Putin. Now, the Trump organization, that's where the back channel is from, the Trump organization to the Alpha Bank, both of those companies denied all of this, and the FBI couldn't find any improper cyber links. So there you go. But Trump prosecutors argued that Michael Sussman intentionally lied to his friend Baker by saying he came only as a concerned citizen and not on behalf of any clients. And prosecutors said that Michael Sussman hid his ties to Democrats in order to, quote, manipulate the FBI and gin up an October surprise to help Hillary Clinton win. Oh, my God. Anyway, the way Sussman told his story, he said that at the peak of Russia's cyber attack on this country through social media during the 2016 election, that he, Sussman, I'm getting this from CNN, that he, Sussman, went to the FBI with a good faith tip, which originated from reputable cyber experts that he represented, Sussman. He separately worked on Clinton's behalf to peddle that unverified tip to the press, generating a bit of coverage. And he didn't try to dupe the Baker, his friend, or hide his political ties. Everybody knew Sussman worked for the Clinton campaign, and as well as the FBI. The FBI knew that he worked there too. So that was the bare bones of this non-existent case against Michael Sussman, the investigation of which has taken 3 years. Now, John Durham, the crazy little prick who Trump appointed to be a special prosecutor, he said in a statement this morning that he was, quote, disappointed with the verdict. Durham issued a statement that said this, quote, while we are disappointed in the outcome, we respect the jury's decision and thank them for their service. I also want to recognize and thank the investigators and the prosecution team for their dedicated efforts in seeking truth and justice in this case, end quote. Now, this crazy little bastard, John Durham, special counsel appointed by Trump, it wasn't just Michael Sussman he was going after. He's trying. They're trying. You know, if Trump, God forbid, lives another 10 years, Trump will still be squawking and farting and wheezing about how the election of 2020 was stolen from him, and there'll be investigations still going on. Remember Benghazi. How long did that go on? Benghazi. Remember? Yeah. Anyway, Durham's work so far has only led to one conviction. And that wasn't a conviction. It was a guilty plea by some junior FBI lawyer who was involved in a wiretapping warrant for a former campaign advisor to the Orange Vomit in 2016. And this guy lied, and then he got caught and he pled guilty. BFD, right? And Mr. Durham also charged a Russian expat who was somehow tied to the infamous Steele dossier. Now, that guy, he's only been indicted. His trial is slated to begin in October. Jesus Christ. Anyway, this Michael Sussman case was the first big courtroom deal for John Durham. And the acquittal may, give some ammunition to Durham's critics who understand that he's trying to run for the Orange Vomit, this politicized probe into these bullshit theories. Oh, my God. And again, let me mention that Trump, the Orange Vomit, treated Durham's probe as a huge political weapon. Oh, God, 1,000 caliber. And the right-wing nutfucks in our political system were just waiting for this trial, waiting for everything to come crashing down. Watergate caliber indictments against Clinton loyalists and maybe the bitch herself and the deep state government agents who conspired against the Orange Vomit. And the orange vomit suggestion, which really pleased his fascist Christian cult followers, that Sussman and other Democrats' conduct should be, quoting the orange vomit, punishable by death, end quote. Like these fuckers will eventually want to do for a woman who exercises sovereignty over her own body and cloaks herself in a constitutional guarantee of privacy and has an abortion. Why not convict her for murder? Why not convict Trump's political enemies by use of the death penalty? Fascist Christians don't care. Again, I recommend that you look at the history of the church. Look over the past 1,800 years. They don't give a fuck who they kill in the name of the Prince of Peace and love and justice and turn the other cheek and so on and so forth. They don't care. They kill anyone who gets in their way. Men, women, children, old people, Jews, Muslims, native peoples all over the fucking globe, even other Christians. Death to these people is nothing. Nothing. Out of my way, asshole. Boom. You're dead. Go away. Go rot. Now, back to John Durham, this crazy investigator, special counsel appointed by Trump. His efforts to investigate the investigators, the people who are looking at the Trump-Putin connection that nobody has yet fully uncovered. Those efforts by Durham are ongoing, and they've outlasted the Russia probe itself, which was taken over by Robert Mueller, that's the name I couldn't remember a second ago, and convicted 6 Trump associates, including his lawyer, including his 2016 campaign chair, including a senior White House official. That's what Mueller did, which made him an enemy for all eternity to the orange vomit. Hence the appointment of John Durham's investigation. And Durham just, well, he got one guilty plea from an FBI lawyer who was way down the food chain, who lied, apparently, about whether or not he wiretapped a low-level, I don't know, Trump employee. Probably had nothing to do with politics. But that's how these son of a bitches work. This is how the fascist Christians work, whether they're in politics or the church or media. This is how they work. This is it. So, there you go. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.